Leem. Great. And we are recording this, so that will be emailed out to you after this webinar, so you'll be able to look back on it or share it with other people in your network. So welcome, everybody. Next slide. And so the passage that the planning team thought of when picking this topic of freedom of movement comes from Luke 2:15. Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us. So that's kind of our scriptural route for freedom of movement. Advent is a time of pilgrimage and preparation. And so we're excited to hear from our companions in Palestine about what pilgrimage means to them. Next slide. Quick note about viewing experience. We are joining on Zoom. And so if you click on view options on the top of your screen and then move down to side-by-side mode, that's going to give you a better viewing experience for this webinar. So go ahead and take a few moments to go up to view, which is top right corner, and then you'll want side-by-side. And I believe it's side-by-side gallery if you're joining from a laptop. Okay, next slide. So this webinar is presented by Opportunity Palestine, and I know some of you are on the board, some of you are connected to OP already, and then there are some new faces in here today. So welcome, and I am a board member of Opportunity Palestine. Our mission is to sustain the educational institutions of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Jordan and the Holy Land. We refer to that as the ELCJHL because it's a long title, but that's essentially the Lutheran Church in Jordan and the Holy Land. And we sustain that through development and awareness building in the United States. We believe that the ELCJHL's vision for justice and peace is essential to overcoming the challenges facing the communities of the Holy Land. And the Board of Opportunity Palestine has a range of backgrounds, but we're all engaged in justice, and we're committed to the education of students in the schools of the ELCJHL. Next slide. If you're not familiar with the schools or haven't had the chance to visit them, there's many of them throughout the Holy Land. And the schools that we support include Dar al-Kalima, which is in Bethlehem, the Lutheran School of Hope, which is in Ramallah, the Evangelical Lutheran School Beit Sahur, which is in Beit Sahur, the Environmental Education Center in Beit Jala, and the Mahaba Nursery and Preschool, which is in Jerusalem. The overall aim is to help children from all walks of life with disregard to gender, religion, ethnicity, color, or ability to pay school fees, receive quality holistic education in a nurturing Christian environment, which will inevitably impact their lives and communities in the ways that will make a difference. So these schools make a difference in the lives of the students and preschoolers that attend them. They add job opportunities for the staff, and they really provide high quality education that allows for doors to be opened. The schools don't discriminate against gender or religion or walk of life or socioeconomic status. And I mean, I've seen firsthand how important this educational formation is for students in Palestine. So if you're not familiar with the schools, I encourage you to connect with Opportunity Palestine so that you can learn more about the importance of them. Next slide. So I am honored to moderate today. I'm excited to spend this time with you. My name is Kelsey Johnson. I'm a seminarian at the Lutheran School of Theology at Chicago, LSTC for short. I am an Opportunity Palestine board member. I've been on the board for about 2 years now. And the way that I became connected to the schools in the ELCJHL was I was a young adults and global mission volunteer in Palestine from 2017 to 2018. And I worked at the Lutheran School of Hope in Ramallah. So that's a little bit about me. Next slide. And like I said, we are joined by some wonderful students today that I'm very excited to hear from and introduce to you. Our first student is Nara. So go ahead and unmute, Nara, and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Nara, a student at the School of Hope in Ramallah, and I'm in the 11th grade. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we've got Kader. Go ahead and unmute and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Kader Barnoura. I'm from the Evangelical Lutheran School. I'm in the 10th grade.
Thank you. And we have Salma.
Hey, I'm Salma Ghanayem from Bethlehem, and I study at Dar al-Kalima. I'm in grade 9.
Thank you, students. Next slide. And then we're also joined by Salim. Go ahead and unmute and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Salim Jaber, and I work at the Evangelical Lutheran School in Bethlehem, which was my school before I studied in it. And I work as a deputy principal and also English teacher and social science teacher for the 6th grade to the 9th, social science, and for the 7th grade, I teach them English. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and move to the next slide. So what we'll do for the first part of the presentation is we'll ask the students and Salim some questions that are planned ahead of time. But then there is a time for Q&A from our participants at the end. So as they're speaking, if anything pops up for you, you can take note of that question and there will be a chance to ask those at the end. So first, I'd like to hear, what is your daily pilgrimage like? Is there a student who'd like to answer first? All right, Kader, go ahead and unmute, and then we'll move to Nara.
My daily pilgrimage is that I'm very lucky and I don't have to pass checkpoints from the Israeli defenses. And I have a friend that is in my school, which is not fortunate like me. He has to pass checkpoints he has to pass checkpoints and go through many different stages of passing the checkpoints. It's a negative effect on his daily life and his studies.
Thank you. Nara?
In my daily pilgrimage, I'm lucky I don't have to go through checkpoints or travel as far as many other Palestinians do because my school is very near to my house. But there are still other pilgrimages where I face these challenges. During Christmas, Easter, and other holidays, we as Palestinians are required to apply for a permission to enter Jerusalem, which is also often rejected. We also have to cross multiple checkpoints going from my city, Ramallah, to other cities in the West Bank and Jerusalem. This doubles or triples the time we need in our trips. Also, there are days when my daily pilgrimage to school or activities are interrupted because of the occupation. On a regular basis, we witness the killing and mistreatments of innocent people. We also witness Israeli military going into our cities frequently. This leads to schools and other daily activities being shut down and life stopping as a result. Even the emotional challenge of these deaths and other tragedies is hard to navigate every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Salma, would you like to share?
Oh, yeah. Well, I come to school by car every day, and I don't pass any checkpoints because it's near Dhesha camp, which I'm really grateful for. But we sometimes face a lot of problems due to the clash between Israeli soldiers and Palestinians. But at other days, there are a lot of martyrs, and it's really terrifying how we have to go through this often. That's it.
Thank you. Salim, would you like to share about your daily pilgrimage?
Yes, of course. As I said, this is my school from being in KG till I graduated from it. And my day starts by going to it and takes around 5 to 7 minutes walking, 2 minutes driving. But if I want to go to Jerusalem, especially on Easter or doing something else there, I need a special permit and a special magnetic card, which we applied to the IDF, Israel Defense Forces, so as to have it in order to pass the checkpoint. Under the age of 55, they don't let us anyone go, despite the fact that they have their special permit or magnetic cards. Sometimes they allow them to go, but most of the time, and it depends according to the mood of the soldiers who are on the checkpoint, to let them through and go to Jerusalem. For me, myself, I was forbidden to enter Jerusalem from the year 2000 till I was 55 years old, because after this year, you can go to Jerusalem without any objection from them, but you have to apply for a magnetic card and a special permit. So I was forbidden for more than 20 years to go to Jerusalem, despite the fact that I have a tour guide license from the Ministry of Tourism, Palestinian Ministry of Tourism. So I can't work with it. So I went to teach at the Lutheran school and work there till I get retired, and I will see what I will do in the next coming 2 years. Because next year I will retire. I'll be 60. Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing. I hope that the participants have taken note of how complicated movement can be in the Holy Land. And when you're a student going to school, that's an additional layer of complexity and stress with getting to your education. We'll move to the next question. So we're going to focus on Christmas a little bit, because the season is coming up and is upon us in Advent. So students, how do you celebrate Christmas in your school? I see Salma's hand, and then we'll move to Nara next, and then Khadr last. Go ahead, Salma.
Well, Christmas is my favorite season, so it's really special for me. Here at my school, we celebrate Christmas in many different ways. We decorate a Christmas tree, we decorate our classrooms, we also sing Christmas carols. On the last day, we have celebrations where many students recite poems and perform, do skits, and Santa comes to all the classes, gives chocolates, and we are given gifts.
Nara?
We celebrate Christmas in our school with many decorations, lights, and a Christmas tree to show how special this season is. Leading up to the holiday, we talk about the meaning of Christmas and Jesus' birth in religion class. We also have a big Christmas celebration at the end of midterms, where classes sing songs, dance, read poems, and perform a play of the Nativity with Mary and Joseph. This celebration is special because we all come together as a community to celebrate.
Thank you, Khadr.
We celebrate in our Christmas in our school, where on Saint Nicholas Day, which is on the 6th of December, one of the staff dresses up as Santa and goes out in the school and gives out chocolate to every kid in school. We also decorate the hallways and classes with the paper decorations and many other things. And we also host a Christmas bazaar, which is held on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of November. And the teachers and students do a activity which is called Secret Santa. And we also the scout also trains for playing music in our school and in different events. And we also do different plays for the students. And there's also a Christmas tree lighting in the middle of the city. The Christmas Bazaar is an event that we enjoyed because of the responsibilities that we held. And we enjoyed it by going out with our friends and meeting different people, when singing and dancing, and eating and enjoying different foods, buying Christmas decoration and gifts for our family and friends. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So like I said before, the schools are open to anyone of any religion. And so there is an interfaith aspect to it, but there are still ways that the students and staff celebrate Christmas and just the holiday season together. And so moving to Salim, the ELCJHL schools have an interfaith curriculum. And so I'm wondering, how is Christmas taught in the schools?
So if we want to speak about our curriculum, okay. At school, we have around 475 students. They are from KG, 3 years old, to 12th grade, 12 years old, and they represent around 30% of them are Muslims and 70% are Christians. I will read what I prepared, okay, if you don't mind, Kelsey. At the KG classes, teachers speak and explain to all students about religious festivals and events for both Christians and Muslims during the morning broadcasting. Every day they do it at the KG. Kindergarten, of course, I mean. While from the classes from 1 to the 12th grade, we divide them into 2 groups, Christians and Muslims. Each group has its own curriculum, of course. We have Christian and Muslim teacher who implement the curriculum at each class. Moreover, all students from 1st grade to the 6th grade, they go to the morning devotion at the church 3 times a week. And they listen to a short story from the Holy Bible by the teacher who presented and explained the meaning of each story that he presents every time. And for grades 7 to 12, they go twice a week, where the pastor comes to the school, to the church, and read some verses from the Bible and explain it to them and encourage them to implement the ethics mentioned in it. After that, all the students, Muslims and Christians, they sing some hymns and then they leave to classes. By the way, some of our Muslim students are in the school choir and they present what they practiced through the semester so as to present the hymns and Christmas songs at religious festivals and events at school and also locally. During each month, both Christians and Muslim teachers have to implement a theme each month according to the objectives they set for each lesson plan. So this month, the month of Christmas time and celebrating Christmas, both teachers speak about the birth of Jesus Christ as it mentions in the Bible and the Holy Quran. explaining the meanings and ideas of forgiveness, simplicity, being humble and with others, and of course, respecting others in order to know each other in a good way. Besides this, the school cooperates with the Arab Educational Institute, which is located at Bethlehem, so as to implement a program designed by the Institute called Living Together in the Holy Land, and it is directed to the 9th grade, where we have a joint lesson speaking about the common ideas between the two religions, and also to give the students the chance to know more about each other. Moreover, we invite speakers from the local community to speak about the two religions. We also ask the students to write a report about each other religion so as to read and know more about others. Thank you.
Thank you, Salim.
Welcome.
I'll go ahead, and if you haven't noticed, there are a lot of pictures that have been shared on the slideshow the last couple of minutes of some snapshots of Christmas in the schools. When I was working at the School of Hope, it was a very exciting time of the year, and there were activities and festivities going on, and all the kids were also given a Christmas gift from the school, which was really special and meaningful for them, and a staff member or Yagam volunteer dressed up as Santa Claus or Baba Noel. I think I remember him being called, and the kids were just so excited to have that festivity going on, and that included the Christian and the Muslim students as well. It was a time of togetherness and peace. Let's move to the next slide. And so our final question is, what does Jesus's birth mean to you? We'll start with the students again, and we'll go with Kader, and then Nara and Salma. So go ahead, Kader.
It's the beginning to having salvation. It's a happy occasion. We should be proud and happy to live in the country that Jesus Christ was born in. Even so, it's still a closed area, which is like a prison. We cannot leave our cities, which is bordered around with checkpoints and many different obstacles. We can have people just visit us, and we can't visit them. The people come here to see our religious places, but we can't go outside to see other religious places. Thank you.
Thank you, Nara.
As a Palestinian Christian, it's important to me that Jesus and I share an identity as Palestinians. He was also born here and started his mission and message to humanity. I think it is necessary to talk about Palestine as the birthplace of Jesus and Christianity. Even though Christians are a smaller group, we have been here for the last 2,000 years. Because of this, I think it's important that we stay here and don't immigrate away so that we can keep our Christian community in its home. We should stay in this land as Jesus stayed here too. Thank you.
Thank you, Nara. Salma, would you share?
Yeah, well, I am so blessed to have been born in Bethlehem, the city where so much history happened, and where Jesus was born. And Christmas to me is more than just gifts. It's about love and celebrating Jesus, celebrating each other, family. And it's a day to be grateful for all God has done.
Thank you. Salim?
Yes, to give a short geography about the location of Beit Sahur, it is to the east of Bethlehem, and both they are joined together with Beit Jala city, and all them, we call them Bethlehem district, and they are very close to each other. That's why Beit Sahur, it is located to the east of Bethlehem, and it is very close to the Shepherd's Field, because my town, Beit Sahur, it is called also the Shepherd's Field. And it is very important for us and means a lot of things to me and for everyone, because it speaks about peace, relationship, about giving, sharing, hoping, and everything it is mentioned in the Holy Bible as our Lord taught us. So I am proud and lucky for living in this place where the angels appear to the shepherds, announcing the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you. And beside what Khadr said, because Khadr is from my school also.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. We'll move to the next. All right. So this webinar is going to continue with Q&A. So you have a chance to interact with our students and Salim. So you can ask questions in the chat and I'll kind of moderate asking the students and Salim. This webinar brings up complex situations involving freedom of movement. So you're welcome to ask about things that were new or confusing or surprising. And then also you're welcome to ask about the students' day-to-day lives and what they enjoy doing and just stuff like that as well. So it looks like we have a question from Dean in the chat already. And he asks, what percentage of students need to pass through checkpoints to get to school? I'm wondering, Salim, do you know how many, what percentage of students need to pass through checkpoints to get to school?
Now, according to my school, we don't have anyone to check the, to pass the checkpoints from Jerusalem to Bethlehem so as to come to Beit Sahur. But in the east of Beit Sahur, sometimes we have what we call it soldiers with their jeeps. They stand on the road and they start checking from the people coming from the villages from the east of Beit Sahur to the school to Beit Sahur. So sometimes they are late. They are around, I think, between 8 to 10% of our students at Beit Sahur. But for other schools, really, I don't know.
Thanks for answering that, Salim. Yeah, so that kind of raised something new that not everybody may be aware of. There are official checkpoints that are built into the infrastructure of the Holy Land, but there are also what are called flying checkpoints, which can pop up.
Yes, flying checkpoints.
They pop up in new places and aren't officially part of the infrastructure of the Holy Land, and that can catch people by surprise and add a lot of waiting time and complexity to the ability to travel. So thank you for highlighting that, Salim. We have a question from Tamar. If you could change one thing as a Palestinian Christian in your city this Christmas season, what would it be? So if you could change one thing in your city this Christmas, what would it be? And students, if you have an answer, go ahead and raise your hand and I'll call on you, but take a second to think about it. Salma, go ahead.
Well, I'm not a Christian, but I am a Palestinian and I do enjoy holiday seasons and stuff like that. What I would change, especially this part of every year, is they focus more on killing and attacking people this season because we're all happy. So I would change the attacking part.
Thank you for answering that. Khadr, would you like to share?
I would make a foundation that donates to people in need.
Thank you. Nara, go ahead.
No, I would to change and to go to go to Jerusalem and the holy places without permissions and without checkpoints, to go direct to it.
Thank you all for sharing your perspective. Salim, would you like to share?
Yes, I hope that we can live in peace in the Holy Land and we can move freely, not just going to Jerusalem, no, everywhere in Palestine. Because, for example, I have my wife's sister, she is living in the north of Palestine, and it's been around 3 years we didn't meet her. So we would like to go there. So what I'm asking for is to implement the human rights, the right of movement everywhere, and to stop and remove all the checkpoints around, and to give the Palestinian people their freedom so as to move and their right to live their life in an equal and equity way.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, so a lot of those answers revolved around the complexity of the occupation and access to movement and freedom. So I think this next question kind of speaks to that. Sandra asks, how are students supported in regards to mental health issues of living under occupation? Because that does have a very real impact. So maybe we can start with Salim for this. How are students supported in regards to mental health issues of living under occupation?
Of course, at my school, we don't face this, but in other schools in Palestine, especially in the West Bank, we have this, and we have a lot of students who suffer from mental health, and we have to prepare them and to take care of them so as to get rid of their fearing and their fear, and what they face while going through the checkpoints and these things, seeing soldiers killing Palestinian young men in the street or arresting them or whatever. So it is, we have to support them in a good way. And we have a lot of institutions and centers in the West Bank so as to deal with those people.
Thank you. Nara?
We as Palestinian students, we want to live as many students live as a normal student without facing this emotional challenges that of these deaths and other tragedies. It is hard to navigate every day as students.
Thank you. Salma or Khader, did you want to answer? Okay. So what is your favorite class or extracurricular activity? Go ahead, Nara.
I play clarinet. It is my hobby. So I have 2 lessons a week and one lesson theory. And it is my hobby. I love playing clarinet. Yeah.
Salma?
My favorite class is English because that's when I get to like express everything that I'm feeling, but I don't really take any extra activities after school, so I don't have a favorite of that.
Thank you for sharing. Khader?
My favorite class is PE because I can relieve all the energy I have been saving for the day.
Those were all really, really wonderful answers. at the School of Hope, I helped teach English and arts, and I also helped with the basketball at PE. And those were all really wonderful glimpses into students being able to express themselves and learn about culture, and also have the experience of being able to move freely and participate with a team activity. So those are all really wonderful answers and things that I experienced joy from in my time with the School of Hope. Let's go ahead and move to this next question from Tamar. Is there a hobby you wish you could practice but can't due to the occupation or other reasons?
I think we have Khadr and Nara. Did they raise their hands?
I think their hands were left up. Nara, did you have? No, okay. It's okay. And it's okay if there's not an answer to some of these. Salim, would you like to share some perspective on that?
Yes, as I said, I am also have a tour guide license, and I would like to travel and explain to tourists coming from all over the world about my country. But unfortunately, I can't go because I don't have a permit to work as a tour guide. So I love traveling.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Salma?
Well, it's not really a hobby, but I would like to be more active in other parts of Palestine, like not in Bethlehem, but I can't do that because of the occupation. So
Thank you. And we are joined by Dr. Charlie Haddad, who, Dr. Charlie, would you like to unmute yourself and introduce who you are to the group?
Yeah, hi, Kelsey. How are you? Hi, everyone. I just wanted to clarify that there are several activities, programs, and projects, and this is related to the earlier question regarding the well-being and mental health of our students and even the staff. Our schools run a holistic system, meaning that we don't only concentrate on the academic programs and the academics, but we implement several other activities and projects that help the students develop skills and capacities in different areas. But a lot of these activities are related to mental health and social well-being, such as the Model United Nations program that helps the children understand the situation better so that they are able to cope with it. There is the music therapy program, which is very important. It is usually run for children from grade 1 until grade 5. And the music therapy program is important because it helps the children channel out negative energy, which they experience because of the prevailing situation. We have in all our schools social counselors. I wish we had more than one social counselor per school, but our budgets are very limited. And so we have one social counselor, full-time, of course, in each school. And the social counselor works with children in different ways. There are one-on-one sessions in special cases where children need special support and help. There is group therapy as well with groups of students. We also, the social counselors also work with some of the parents. The point is that there are different activities, including handcrafts, vocational programs, and art programs. And these really help children express themselves and sometimes you see these expressions reflected in their art and in their drawings, even in their handcrafts. And this is a very positive way to really support the children under harsh conditions, whether they are political, economic, social, and many of these, several of these issues are directly or indirectly related to the occupation, the big prison that many children and adults feel that they are living under. It is very complicated, it is very complex, and it is very difficult, I think, for our sisters and brothers abroad to understand the situation until they really go through it and live it, and such as you and Aim and Kelsey and many Yagons who live here for a whole year. And I'm sure when they do that, they really understand the situation much from a different perspective. And hopefully when they go back home, they convey this to their friends, to their families, to the people abroad.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Charlie. So for everybody who's joining us, Dr. Charlie is the Director of Education for the ELCJHL schools. And so he has a perspective of the entire school system. He also joins the board meetings with an update for us who are engaged in the work of Opportunity Palestine, so that we can be in touch with what's going on in the schools, what are the needs of the schools. And that's incredibly helpful because it sheds a perspective that we are kind of shielded from and removed from in the United States. Even having served as a young adults and global mission volunteer and being aware of the complexities, there's always things that are changing and evolving with the situation in Palestine and the Holy Land. So thank you, Dr. Charlie.
Thank you, Kelsey, for introducing me. I forgot to do that.
It's okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and Dr. Charlie, there's a thank you in the chat as well. So thank you for the details. It sounds like it helps with a more thorough understanding of the perspective of the schools. Salim, I noticed your hand is up. Was it a response to the previous question, or did you have something you wanted to add? And then we have one final question, I think. It's kind of a fun one. Which team did you cheer for in the World Cup? I saw Salma's hand come up right away. Go ahead.
Well, I can't for sure speak for all of us, but I think most of the Arab community was rooting for Morocco, and because it's the first African Arab country to ever reach that.
Yeah, really exciting to follow Morocco. And as we know, they're not in the finals, but really, really fun to follow them. Nara, how about you?
Argentine.
Yeah, Argentina has a really good story too,
Yes.
with Messi. So
Yes.
yeah, very, very exciting. Thank you. And how about Khader?
I also support Argentina because it's Messi's last World Cup, and he has to win this.
Oh,
Inshallah. Yeah, we'll be watching tomorrow, I believe, is the final World Cup. So if you haven't watched any games, there's still one left that you can check out. All right, thank you, students, and Salim, for your perspective and sharing. And I just want to highlight that the students' first language is not English, and their English is amazingly proficient, and they are fluent in it. So it's even more difficult to engage in, especially these spontaneous Q&As when it's your second language. So please share signs of appreciation for the students and Salim. Thank you in the chat, or applause. We're really grateful for you and your time today. So students and Salim, make sure you read the chat to see the signs of appreciation. And then I'm going to turn it over to Eamon, who's also involved with Opportunity Palestine, and he'll introduce himself and kind of talk about some of our needs right now. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody, and I'm Eamon Ormseth, and I am the Content Development Associate with Opportunity Palestine, along with my colleague Sam E., who's doing the tech here. I just wanted to announce on this webinar our Advent Giving campaign. We are hoping to raise $25,000 for student scholarships in this Advent season. We've already almost raised 4, and as of last week, the Board of Opportunity Palestine has offered to match the next $5,000 in donations. We already had 500 come in, so the next $4,500 in donations will be matched. So if you're looking for a time to donate before the end of the year, we're a 501c3 organization. Now is a great time to do it. I just put the link in the chat. So please take a look at our website and consider supporting us this Advent season. Every bit counts, and your donations go directly to support scholarships at the ELCJHL schools. And I think the next slide is just our website. You can go to the website directly. I put the link in the chat, like I said, and blessings to everyone in their Advent season, and stay tuned to our emails. We will have some more emails coming telling about the success stories in the schools and stories of some of the students, like the ones on this webinar. If you'd like to join our email list, you can click that link right there I just sent. And I just got a direct message. Someone's asking, will we get the link for their recording? So yeah, we send out the links. We put them on our YouTube page, and then we also send them out as attachments in our email list. So if you'd like to subscribe to our email list, the webinar will be in the next email. I put that link right there. So thanks, Kelsey, for your wonderful job moderating today, and I'll turn it back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Eamon. We'll move to the next slide. So we also invite you to stay connected with us in our work as Opportunity Palestine. We are very present on social media. We've got a Facebook page, an Instagram, and even a Twitter if you tweet. And of course, we have a website as well. It's opportunitypalestine.org. When you go to that website, you can find links to donate and also links to sign up for our emails. We frequently send those out, and Sam and Eamon are the ones who are in charge of that. And so that's an opportunity to hear updates from our schools. There's frequently stories about what our students are up to, and it also keeps us up to date on what the needs are in the schools and campaigns that OP is running. So I encourage you to please check out our website, opportunitypalestine.org, and connect with us on social media. Next slide. And again, thank you so much to our speakers, Nara, Khader, Salma, and Salim. We give thanks for the ELCJHL staff and other leaders in the Palestinian schools that have been on this call as well. Thank you, Dr. Charlie, for sharing your perspective as well. And thank you all for spending an hour with us on Saturday. The work of Opportunity Palestine is really important in the lives of our Palestinian students in the ELCJHL, and we just appreciate your time to listen to them and join us. Salim, I see that your hand is up.
Yes, thank you for everything and for this webinar. And also I would like to thank all the visitors who were with us tonight. And also I would like to wish them on behalf of my students and myself and the schools a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Wish you all.
Thank you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you too. And there are several of our board members joining too. And so I see some of you are on camera. If you just want to give a wave too, we appreciate the work of the board and the leadership in the work of Opportunity Palestine. So thank you all for joining. I think that is the last slide, but if you'd like to view this webinar, there will be a link sent out in an email following up. So I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of their Advent season, a joyful Christmas, and a good New Year. Thank you.
You are welcome.